Kyle, obviously not the result you wanted, but what comes to mind when you think about this game and what the effort you guys had, especially on the defensive side?
Hurts. This one definitely hurts. Not the way you want to end this story, and especially the journey this team's been on this entire year. It's sad that this is the way it has to go. Defensively, I thought for the most part we did a really good job of responding. I know these past 2 weeks have not gone the way we would like them to go defensively. But to come out here and really only force them to kick field goals the entire night until that last 2-minute drive, I think really shows something about the resiliency of these guys. It's hard. It's hard, looking at that man in the mirror after 2 back-to-back poor performances, but to finally come out here and show a little bit of improvement, I think shows a lot.
When you look at, as a leader in this room, when you look at the last few weeks, do you see a difference in motivation from the team that bit UW in September to the team that plays today?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think the motivation's still there through and through. It's all the same guys, and I think this team has done a better job of keeping the same mindset week in and week out. Just not really sure what's gone wrong these past few weeks, and maybe it's just the way life goes sometimes. Doesn't make it any easier, but sometimes it's just where it is.
In terms of holding them to field goals for the first 3 quarters and then the touchdown drive on the last drive of the game, what were the main differences you saw, between those, those two things?
In terms of like just
how things went on defense for you guys from the first 3 quarters to Miami's last drive.
From the last drive, yeah, I mean, anytime you get into 2-minute mode, it's a little bit of a different style on defense. You change up a little bit because obviously, you're playing for, we just can't let them get in the end zone. It's something that our defense, I think, has been really good at this year outside of, again, these past 2 weeks. We've had some pretty good goal line and just fourth quarter stop or 2-minute stops throughout this year, and this was one of the ones that just didn't fall our way. The big thing to learn from is that even though we were holding the field goals, even field goals sometimes aren't enough. Like, you really got to fight to keep it 0 points. Even 3 sometimes is too much. So always areas that we can get better at. And again, some penalties late hurt. That's something that I think we just got to get cleaner at. But yeah.
You guys are 2-6 in November the last couple of years, or last 2 years. What, in your mind, what's behind that? And are you guys kind of progressing in some way as the year goes on the last couple of years?
Yeah, I don't know. It's honestly a really good question. I've never really looked into it too much, month by month. Usually just focus pretty week in and week out. I don't know. I know last year, obviously, we played some pretty good teams. That team on the other side was pretty good last year at the end of the year. That was a hard one. And then this year we just weren't able to close the door on some games. So, yeah.
How do you guys kind of pick yourself back up with a bowl game still to play for? Obviously 3 straight losses kind of leaves a sour taste, as Coach Tickert said. How do you guys still get yourself motivated to play a game, maybe kind of without thinking what could have been?
Well, I think the big thing is, we're going to get a little bit of time off here, just as, at the end of the season, you get a little bit of time off to kind of fully reset. And I think sometimes when things kind of hit a slide like this, that is what's needed. Guys, everyone needs to be able to take a break, get away from it, and really look that man in the mirror and say, what do we need to change so that way we can go 1-0 in our final game as a team. This one obviously meant a lot, being the last one here in Martin as a senior. But like you said, we do still have one more, and we still have a pretty special season ahead of us. Last time I checked, 9-4 is still really good. So,
and then obviously, kind of building off Greg's question, there's not, you're not going to be able to correct the November issues, considering as we know, you're graduating. But what is the kind of thing you try and impart to the younger players, the guys who will take over as leaders next year, to maybe give them some wisdom on how you correct some of these issues late in the season?
The biggest thing I would say is just everyone's got to take accountability. It is really easy to point fingers and just say, oh, it's someone else's fault, or it's that person's fault, or it's this one play or it's this one thing. But unfortunately, like, that won't fix problems. The only thing that really fixes problems is everyone looking at themselves and saying, where could I have done more? What could I have done better? What preparation could I have done more of? And just really looking inside before looking outside.
So defense overall, as you're saying, played really well in that opening bid. What did you see on Wyoming that had them just run down the field and get what they get on a 90-yard drive to get that touchdown blow?
Again, just like they were in a need a touchdown situation, so they had to start pushing the ball downfield. I thought we were really handling their run game pretty well. They were trying to run the quarterback and load up the box, and I thought we were shutting that down pretty well, but obviously they couldn't do that at the end there. So they had to go to the pass game, had to spread it out a little bit, and we just didn't make the plays that we've been making all year at the end there.
Bowl game next. I know you have a few weeks until whatever bowl that y'all end up getting into, but what lessons can you take from this game, especially with the defense playing overall much better today than it was the last few weeks, into that?
Yeah, no, you can always learn a lot from types of games like these. The biggest thing is that as our defense, like, we can hold teams to under 20 points. It's something that we haven't done in a while. But to kind of get that confidence back that, we are able to hold teams out of their end zone and keep teams to field goals, like, that's something to build on. Obviously the dagger at the end hurts, but 15 points is something we can build on. And then moving forward as a team, just using this as kind of fuel to the fire for how we really want to end this journey as a team and send this team out the right way.
Obviously, this isn't how you wanted your senior night to go. And Dickert was saying when he thinks about what comes next, he thinks about you guys and just how much he cares for you guys and how much you put on the line. How do you kind of frame that? I know you just got off the field of what your experience has been like, Giesa Field, and then just, the headspace of moving forward, but you have a little time to reflect.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is obviously, everyone focuses on the last game. But to be honest, one game doesn't define a journey, and I'm certainly not going to let it define mine. I've said it a couple of times, like, when I first got here, I was a no one, just a walk-on, 15th on the depth chart, no real business being here. Team captain, 2 Apple Cup victories, 8-win season with the potential for 9 wins. Like, it's been such a hell of a journey. And obviously, it's a little bit of a hard ending, but every story's got to end somewhere. This is where mine ends here in Martin. But I wouldn't change anything about it. I'm blessed to be here, blessed for the journey, and just couldn't be more grateful.
Kyle, as you sit up here, you still have the jersey and pads on. I guess just, seeing your family out there today, taking it all in, and, as you sit up here now, just kind of how do you encapsulate everything from today?
I think still having the pads on probably shows you where I'm kind of at, just really taking every last moment to soak it all in. Again, last one of these here in Martin. Just, emotional game. Had to definitely fight back some tears walking out there with my family. Just so many sacrifices have been made for this journey, and to see it finally culminate and end here, just a blessing. Truly is a blessing.